Hey, everybody, and welcome to the HERstory Collaborative. My name is Jen Buck, and I'm your host here in the collab. Now, you all know that I'm all about advocating, activating, and amplifying high-performing women. And that's what the HERstory Collaborative is really all about. Trailblazing women who are changing their little corner of the world. Now, my next guest is Jennifer Aks-Neuman. She's a movement coach, story producer, choreographer, photographer, and teaching artist. She is also the founder of herStories, which was born in response to the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. As a woman, mother, teaching artist, photographer, and collaborator, she wanted to find ways to remain connected, creative, and inspired. Today, her focus has become the feminine exploration of intuition, trust, and storytelling. She believes that intuitive movement has the potential to create new pathways, which can lead to personal and communal discovery and empowerment. She is committed to listening, supporting, and collaborating with women so that they have the opportunity to tell their story. So, Jennifer, welcome to the collab.
Thank you so much. I literally have like chills running up my spine and all over. That was the most
I love that.
Gorgeous intro. I just want to thank you for that. That was beautiful. I was like, wow, I really want to know this woman. Oh, wait, it's me.
It's me. Oh my gosh, it's me. And that's that's something actually that I love about this, because I see women respond that way. And it's fun for me as I'm speaking to watch you moving and to watch your response to this, because I know that we don't get enough of that, right? We don't
Right.
ever hear sort of the bio about ourselves. And it's wonderful to watch women, when I'm going through this, respond to their own accomplishments. Like, that rocks.
Wow. I'm just completely blown away. And I just think that's such a gift that you're giving women to be able to reflect that bio back to them. And it's also so genuinely spoken. So I'm deeply grateful. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You gave me a beautiful gift today.
Oh, I love that. So everybody, I have to tell you about Jennifer. So we met on social media, and she was one of those women who I think there was just this sort of mutual attraction to the value and messaging that was being shared. And then we realized, once we connected on the back channels, we realized that we both have this commitment to telling the stories of women and bringing them together. And so her company is called herStories. And mine, of course, is HERstory Collaborative. And it was like, oh my gosh, here we are. We never realized that when we were chatting on social that this was the connection. And so, Jennifer, you've got to tell us about where herStories came from. Like, give us the origin story, because I've been so inspired to watch the videos and to see the women expressing themselves. And I think people need to really understand what you do, because no one else is doing this.
Ah, I have chills again. Thank you for that. So yes, I'm a big believer in expression and storytelling, but that there are so many ways to do that. There's the written word, there's the spoken word, of course, there's poetry, there's movement, there's painting, there's even storytelling when you garden or when you cook, right? It's all kind of in the movement of our life. And there are so many opportunities to do that. And I feel, as a person and a child growing up, not feeling seen and heard in my academic life, because I was a kinesthetic learner. I didn't learn that until much later, but I was the type of person that would communicate, a little bit beyond the written word. And the written word didn't even resonate with me in school. Much later, I realized this. I was a little down on myself through the years and thought, what's wrong with me? But then I started to realize the power of my body voice, the power of my expression through the arts. So my journey through photography and editing, and as a teaching artist working with inner city children in public schools to help amplify their voice through the arts, all of those things were just a huge passion, make up a lot of my passion. And then COVID hit. And all of my communities were shut down, just like most of us. And the schools that I was teaching in, I could no longer, right? Because those shut down as well. So I decided to shift my amplifying children's voices into women, because I love women, children, women, my two favorite buckets.
Yes.
So no offense to my husband.
Yeah.
So I just decided to begin asking women to tell me how they were feeling in this moment. COVID hits, where does it land? How do we feel? What do we want to say? How do we want to communicate that through our body? So it began with a conversation, which led to expression in our body, but not big dancing around. In fact, it wasn't dance at all. It was just gestures. So throughout this last year, I've really curated a very special process that allows us to express ourselves through gestures, the power of gesture. So let's just say one of the women said, I feel angry about this pandemic. Well, maybe anger is in a gesture, So we would embody our emotions with these gestures, empowerment, freedom, love, whatever it is. Yeah. And so then I would take some of that footage and some of our conversation and begin to edit. So needless to say, the experience was beyond. I curated this diary that really shared with ourselves and our community and others what we were feeling and what our experience was. So I knew from that experience it was very powerful. And I decided to just reach out to every woman I know, basically. And I said, will you go on this journey with me? I want to try. So it's been a year. It's 60 diaries later, 60 video diaries, that means 60 women I have held space for and listened to. And I'm just so grateful that they trusted me to take them on this journey and continue to. And every story obviously is completely unique because every woman has a different life journey. And it's not obviously just about the pandemic. It's about now HERstories. It's about your story. What have you been through? Let's talk about it. Let's embody it. And let's curate your video diary that really represents who you are and what you want to share with the world. Yes. So it's been an incredible journey. I'm beyond passionate about it. And I just want to keep telling stories and keep expanding the community.
And I love all of that so much. You hit so many things for me that I'm just like, yes.
I know.
Yeah. And so the thing that I felt so surprised by, and I don't know why it was surprise, it was the depth of emotion that was shared in the moments. Mm-hmm. Like I could feel fear. Mm-hmm. I could feel frustration amid all of this beauty that is being created. And they are absolutely gorgeous stories. They're beautifully shot. They're beautifully woven. The music, everything about it is it's so about activating the body. And it was really, really powerful to just sit and watch these and see the depth. And that's the thing I guess I'm trying to say. The depth, it was like the vulnerability, the transparency that these women were allowing me as the viewer, right, to listen to and feel and really get into. And I just felt like it was something I'd never seen before.
Yeah, thank you. I want to mention, I'm so sorry. No, finish what you were saying.
Oh, I was just going to say, it kind of reminds me of boudoir photos, but it's a story. It's the vulnerability and beauty of a boudoir photo. But of course, you're not necessarily doing any of that stuff. That's not what I mean. But it's that when I see boudoir photos that friends of mine have done, there is something that's seen in that moment that I don't see every day in the friendship or, within that partnership and community, whatever it is. It's something broken open. And that is what you're doing. You're breaking something open, and it's movement and it's feeling and music. It's just beautiful.
I appreciate that. I wanted to comment on a couple things you said. One is, you said it's beautifully shot, which is really interesting to hear because one of my biggest passions about this is to just be as authentic as possible, not just in your expression vocally or with your body, but in your own environment. So the lighting isn't perfect. The setting isn't perfect. Everything happens virtually online. It starts in a conversation just like this. So it's actually imperfect. And that's what I love about it, is that it's real, it's raw. We're not coming in with big cameras and lighting. We're just here on Zoom having a conversation. So I absolutely just love that you appreciate the way it's shot, because it's just sort of part of the process that this is where we live. This is where it's happening. The additional video clips that the women do, because they further embody their story and then send me additional video clips that I put in, those they can do whatever they want if they want to have better lighting. But again, I do encourage them. It's not performative. This is imperfect. This is not about perfection at all. This is about the perfection is around being truly authentic. Truly authentic. That's where the perfection lies. And all the other stuff will just take care of itself as long as we're speaking from our truth.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. It's glorious. And so tell me, what is this passion around women for you? I know that you explained sort of some of what you've done with kids. I know what you're doing now. Where does this sort of passion for moving the needle for women, amplifying women come from for you?
Well, what's coming to me is this. I feel, I just turned 50 and I've journeyed and done my thing and 2 kids and all these things, right? And I find from my own experience, sometimes we tend to lose our way. At this, we've gone through a lot, and some women, I find a lot of women will say, oh, I've had 2 kids, I've had that career, okay, I'm kind of done. And they think like this second half is maybe not meant to be quite as special as the first half, or maybe it's kind of like, all right, it is what it is. But what I want to do is say, no, like, you have so much time left. What do you want to do? What do you want to say? And love the journey that you've come from. Now, I want to comment on a lot of women I work with have had very difficult journeys, right? And it's not to say, oh, you've had this beautiful life, let's share it. The difficulty can be art as well. The passion comes from creating art out of life. That is the most inspiring thing to me. And when we're inspired, we create art. And so there's no better inspiration than a woman's life story. So I want to hear about her story, and then I want to amplify it and create art out of it so that they can feel empowered and live out the rest of their life with this appreciation for themselves, to say, you know what, I had that time in my life, but I'm resilient, I'm strong, and I'm pretty awesome, or I'm beautiful. I want to open their eyes to see, no matter what they've experienced, we can create art out of it. So I have a big passion just to keep the woman's voice moving forward and her power moving forward. Did that answer the question?
Totally. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. Yes, it did. And I feel the same way. I can relate so much to what you said, because as a woman who is now over that 50 bridge, right? There is, the beauty trap that comes into play.
Yeah.
There is the self-deprecating beliefs, right? That this isn't as firm as it used to be, kind of thing, right? And so it is about what society tells us, for sure. And I remember when I was turning 50, I was really upset about it. And I had a friend actually say to me, you've got to stop this. She said, you are now officially an elder. Now, there is not a time in my life that I've ever welcomed that word, but she said it to me like this. She said, you are officially an elder, and your job is to help the girls get to your level. It's okay. Your job is to help the girls get to your level. Your job is to create that bridge. Your job is to help them. And you need to step into that and embody it fully. And honest to goodness, that was the first time that I went, well, okay, that's right. I am an elder. Like, yes, I have, in my mind, I have well over 50 more years left. I really do believe that. I have well over 50 more years left. However, I need to step into this position, this time in my life, with full strength, embodying that wisdom. And I got it. When she said it, I got it for the first time. And yet I was always sort of like, not wanting to get there and not wanting to be at that age. And now I'm like, bring it. Like, yes, all the things.
I think that's absolutely beautiful. It's incredible. And I think the more we can come together, even if a woman doesn't feel this way to do this work, just to join right? There's a place for all of us, and there's a place for all of our ambitions. And so I appreciate your role. I love what I'm doing. And I just think, and there's so many women that can contribute to the whole. So if we all just come together like that with realizations that we do have strength together, we can live out these next 50 years or however long with equal beauty, if not more, and wisdom. The thing that we have now is wisdom, which we didn't have, back in the day.
So on that note, let's talk about your community, because you've created this incredible community and it's beautiful. You're bringing them together. They're bonding and connecting and sharing. And tell us about the community with HERstories.
Yes. So again, I like keep getting chills because I just love this work so much. And I appreciate your questions. So something that has come out of this is absolutely fantastic, which are these virtual galleries. So it started with various women, individual women, us curating her diary and then her kind of moving on, but me always staying in contact with her because I love everyone that I work with so much. Yes. Then I started realizing women were watching other women's stories and saying, oh my gosh, if she can feel that way, I can feel that way. Or, oh, wow, I'm really not alone. So all of a sudden they were kind of feeding off of one another and emails started coming in. And I thought, okay, this is a community. This is not just a one-off, let me create your video diary. This is a real connection and a community that's being created. So then I decided I want to bring everybody together, but in person, well, not in person, but I wanted to see everyone on Zoom, not on Facebook, like a Facebook group, which is amazing. And maybe I'll do that after. Yeah. So I decided, all right, I'm going to gather everyone on Zoom and I'm going to call it a virtual gallery, which the title of it is Let's Celebrate Women. And I do it every 3 months. And it's growing and growing, and it's just incredible. So I have 3 women and their stories. So everyone comes to the gallery, which is the Zoom room, and the 3 women are there in their rooms. And then I move all the guests so that they get a chance to visit each woman and their story, which is about 3 to 5 minutes long, and have a little interaction. Each room is about 10 minutes. And then we spend a lot of time in the gallery together talking, and I'm a big music person. So I always have live music. So there's live music and everyone's talking and visiting the rooms, and it's beautiful. So this community is really expanding, and I feel like the virtual galleries are a huge part of that. And I'm blown away. I'm already like booking my next musician for January and then for April. It's really exciting. It's very exciting. Yeah.
I was so bummed that I couldn't come to your October one.
Yeah, that's okay. There'll be more.
Yeah, I will be in the others just because I'm so tracking with who you are. Love the whole thing the whole package, from your energy to what you're amplifying to what you're breaking open. The whole thing is so beautiful that I'm going to be there. Like, I'm a fan. I'm all in, totally all in for sure. So yeah. So I want to ask you this, because I find myself in this really interesting space right now because of COVID, because of what we've all collectively experienced. And I do think that for almost every person on the planet, this will be one of our most important and connected experiences. Yeah. And we will all be able to speak to strangers about this moment. I think everybody on the planet is going to feel like there was sort of a before and after COVID life, but yet that time in between is going to be something that I think is very connecting. And we may not be there now, like our country is a fractured mess right now, but I think we're going to get to a place where this is going to matter a lot, regardless of where you stood within it. So I've had these unexpected gifts that have come to me during this time. Much like what you were talking about, my industry was completely devastated because, I speak on stages at big gatherings where you have tens of thousands of people. So I was flying every day to these big events that were just gone overnight, right? And literally within 3 months, I lost 2 years worth of business. So devastating. But I had to, much like you, pivot fast and try to figure out, how am I going to, frankly, keep the lights on, right? Or keep myself engaged in life. And so I also had to do things that I hadn't done before. And my focus became very much about online training for women. And the thing is, I'm not technical. I'm not an editor. I'm not savvy at all when it comes to anything connected to the digital space,
Right.
any of that. And I had to learn because there
Yeah.
was no one to pay anymore, right? There was nobody to handle it for me.
Yeah.
And I went into literally for like 8 months, I went into full learning mode. And now I do it all myself. I created an entire online digital space for women to come in. It's a marketplace for women to come in and purchase training from all different women. And it's an amazing thing that's happened. But here's where I'm going with this. And I'm dying to know what you're going to say. I always said I wasn't technologically capable because I'm a creative. I'm a communicator. I'm a feeler. And so I always put myself in that space that I can't do that because my brain is highly functioning over here in this right brain space of creativity. What I have found is that there's a gateway into technology that is so massively creative that I have found myself actually loving it. Loving it, and I'm good at it, and it feeds my soul to sit there and create digitally something I never expected. Is that similar at all to sort of the journey you've gone through?
Yeah, I mean, I've always, because I was a photographer, and with that, I edited, right? And I've always had video photography editing in my life in some capacity, whether personal or professional. However, with that said, I've had to learn too. I mean, I didn't know, Canva. I didn't know all of these other, but I love this stuff. So it's pretty intuitive for me, but I definitely had to learn, like the software that I use, Final Cut Pro, to make all of these videos. I had to learn that. I did not know that. I was using iMovie and some other things, but this is much more sophisticated.
You took a huge leap. Yes. Yeah.
And it was great. So, well, listen, we all have our learning curves. We all have our way in, but what I love what you said is, like, there's the creative and there's the technology, and they really, when they can blend together, some beautiful things can be birthed. And it sounds like you've really done that, which is incredible.
Yeah, not too different from you. I mean, we're on two different paths, but boy, I can just see the parallels, between the paths, because we're definitely moving in the same direction. And I just think it's remarkable. So I wanted to ask you questions that are a little less formal in terms of what you're doing professionally. And I want to get to know you a little bit better. Yes, we've had time to engage, but it's always fun for me to ask questions and just let you sort of go with whatever comes to mind. And I think it allows those tuning in to get to know you a little better. And so I'm going to toss them at you. Are you good with that?
Yeah, great.
Okay, cool. So if you had an hour to spend with your favorite woman from history, who would you spend that hour with?
That one's easy for me. It's Gloria Steinem.
Oh, I am such a fan. Yes. Yes. Literally, right. The year before COVID, I went and saw her speak and had this seat that was literally right by, not so that they were in round tables, and I had one table between me and her. And I literally was gobsmacked by this woman, her wit, her charm, her slicing and dicing tongue, her choice to be fearless and truthful no matter what. I was like, I love her. I love her. I want her to be my aunt.
Yeah. She's such an inspiration. And I'll just say very quickly that before the pandemic, I was working in inner city public schools, like I told you, and I directed a show called Voices of Change. And I wrote it, and I had 200 dancers and producers and choreographers and the whole thing. Literally, it was like an off-Broadway show. And the title again was Voices of Change. So every piece was focused on a voice of change, like Nelson Mandela, and I just mentioned him because I was just thinking about one of his pieces just this morning. It was so beautiful. Audre Lorde, and then it was Gloria Steinem was really sort of the impetus and like the inspiration for me around voices of change as a woman, as a feminist, as a community
Goosebumps.
organizer, and all the things.
Yes.
Just unbelievable.
Oh my gosh, we have a lot in common. Same, check, check, check. So I too am highly involved in community organizing, highly involved in leading strong female groups that are worldwide, and state leader, regional. So same, we have a very similar thing happening. Yes.
Amazing.
I know my people. Okay. So what is your favorite place that you have ever visited in the world, anywhere?
In the world? Oh my gosh. That's a tough one. I've been, I mean, it's not like I've been everywhere, but Prague, I've been doing, I loved it. But the one that comes to my mind is, honestly, it was this hike that I did with my sister-in-law in Northern California. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but what I remember, it was so absolutely beautiful to hike to the top, walk and hike for like 10 miles. It was very long. And then we found this gorgeous body of water and went skinny dipping. So
no kidding. Oh, what a great
memory.
It was
amazing. We were just like, okay, pick off all our stuff.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
So body of water. Well, I know there are a lot of them there. I know on the Berkeley, on the other side of the Berkeley Hills, there's a huge body of water there. I don't know if it's a dam or what it is, but it's great hiking around there. I'm wondering if that might be where it is, other side of the Berkeley Hills. Were you on the other side? Okay. Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. If you were given $1 million and you had to give it to a nonprofit organization, charity, who would that be for you?
Well, interestingly enough, I have the HERstories Foundation. So I recently just aligned with a fiscal sponsor, and I'm raising money to help women amplify their voices, because I have worked with many women in this last year that do not have the resources to afford a story. And I want everyone, and I never want money to get in the way. So where would I put a lot of it? I mean, it's not selfish because it's for other women. So I would say the HERstories Foundation.
Oh my gosh, I love it. That is killer. And if anyone listening wants to invest in putting some of these stories together, you can go there as well. Is it herstories.org?
Yeah, you can actually, on my website, it's herstories.org, and then there's a donate button.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
Easy. Good. So what's your favorite book or podcast?
Lately, I've been listening to Jamila Jamil.
Okay.
Do you know her?
No.
Oh, she is incredible. I just find her so humble and honest. She's an activist, and she welcomes everyone and anyone. I mean, every podcast has a different theme. And recently I listened to Sophie Morgan, who's a disability activist, and she really, really opened my eyes to so many things just about people with disabilities and our assumptions about them, and that, oh, we need to cater to them or feel bad, but really they might actually be extremely happy and empowered and have come to realize all that they're capable of, regardless of their disability. And these are her, words speaking from personal experiences. Yes. And I just loved it. So every podcast she does, every theme, every person she interviews or has a conversation with is brilliant. I love it.
Awesome. I'm checking it out. I'm a huge podcaster. And I think if I was asked this question, I wouldn't really know what my favorite book is, but I would know my favorite podcast. So this is great. This is excellent. Thank you. So what's a quirky or wacky fact about you that many people might not know?
Okay, a quirky, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's kind of silly, but like literally my entire life, people have told me I look like Sarah Jessica Parker, and have there's just been like a lot around, and it's not just a little thing, it's kind of like a large thing. And it's just a very funny, silly thing that happens all the time in my life, whether it's the paparazzi or her husband, because her husband actually thought I was her at one point.
No kidding. You do look so eerily like her. It's amazing. And you live in New York City. So I would imagine
I lived near her too. I just need to meet her because I've met so many people around her in her life that are like, oh my God. And when I met Matthew Broderick, he was like, wow, you really do look like my wife.
That is crazy. No, it really is. It's uncanny. Yeah, for sure. I love it. All right. So if you could have a superpower, any superpower, what would you choose?
To be able to fly.
Okay.
To be able to fly.
Good.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it would be a great one. I remember years ago having a dream that I was flying, and I woke up feeling like I could feel the wind on my body and all of that. And I remember just being so exhilarated. So yeah, that'd be a goodie.
Yeah, that would be a goodie.
Yeah. What's your most treasured item? Now, not, of course, kids, family, spouse, partner, all of the things, and dog, because I heard the dog. So what would your most treasured item be?
I think it's my photo albums. Yeah, because if it can't be my kids, which is what I was going to say, because the truth is, it's like, right, when they're happy, I'm happy. Like you just feel into your children so much, and so much of the energy comes from where they are in their life and how they're feeling energetically, and they are my treasures for sure.
Yes.
But if it can't be them, the next best thing is my photo albums, I think. Yeah.
I love it. Yay. What's your theme song? So if you were to imagine this, be walking on stage, there are all these people, you're getting an award for changing the world for women.
Yeah.
And they're bringing you to like some massive stage with 50,000 people in the audience. What are you strutting onto? Since you love music, I know there's one.
You know, what's coming to mind, it's funny because I just did a retreat recently there were over 100 people, and I was asked to lead this whole experience, and I was so excited. It was the first time I'd done it with that many people. You're talking about 50,000. This was 150 people.
No, huge.
And I really loved Unstoppable by Sia.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Such a good one.
Great one. That is a fabulous choice. Yes. And no one said that in this podcast, webcast, TV show. So good on you. Love, love, love.
Nice.
Yep. That's a good one.
I'd be curious to know what other people have said.
Oh my gosh. It runs the gamut. And I've had
tell me later.
But there are so many. Yeah. I probably should have a list because it'd be a killer. It would be a killer pod list. I'm not
make a playlist. How fun. Easy to do.
Me an idea. You just gave me an idea. That is fabulous. So what's the best word to describe you?
Oh, I would say, I mean, I get so uncomfortable, right? We all get so uncomfortable about saying, but I would say non-judgmental. I really am completely non-judgmental. It's just, there's everything is welcome. I just always feel like, and I always say to my children, you never know. Yeah. You just don't know. You don't know what anyone's story is. You cannot assume ever. And we don't even know the whole story, even if it's in the news or whatever. Like, so to just be open to the possibilities of life and experiences. Yeah.
I love it. Yes. So let's fast forward for the last two questions here. The first one's going to be about your business. The second one's going to be really about life. So the first one is this. What is one big thing you want to accomplish in your work before you're done working?
I really want to accomplish HERstories, which accomplishment looks like telling a lot of stories with the intention to bring as many women together to feel in support of one another and to deepen compassion and empathy in the world, like truly. And it piggybacks on what you asked me about me, right? Non-judgmental. I want others to strip away the judgment and to look with open eyes and an open heart to say, I had no idea, or shame on me for thinking that she had that, but really she had that, So to just keep growing and expanding the community of HERstories. So for me personally, I want to travel the world. I want to meet all kinds of women from all kinds of cultures. I want the HERstories Foundation to grow, and I want these virtual galleries to grow and grow. And I want to have some in person as well.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Last question here. Finish this sentence. When I'm really, really old, I hope to see
my children happy.
Beautiful. Yes, absolutely. Whatever that looks like.
Whatever that looks like, because I'm realizing as they get into their teens, if they're not happy, I'm not fully happy. I'm not. If they're sad or struggling, I'm not fully happy. So if they're happy, I'm happy. So when I'm really old, I want to be happy. So I want to see them happy.
I love it. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, Jennifer, you need to tell people where they can find you. You are such a bright light. And I know that people are going to be reaching out to check out what you're doing and what this looks like. So please give us some links, some connections so that we can follow up with you.
Thank you for this. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
I have a website, www.herstories.org. Instagram, it's herstories_told. And that's the same for Facebook. And my virtual gallery, that's the big thing. And that is January 12th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to have it up on my site. I'm going to be sending out emails. I would love people to connect with me via newsletter, like go on my site and sign up for my newsletter. And then you will get all of the things about the virtual gallery, because that's really, I feel like, how this community is going to just continue to expand.
Yes. And I will tell you, as someone who's on your newsletter, you don't bombard us. You have beautiful newsletters. They are full of value. So thank you for that, because sometimes I just feel like once that digital currency is out there, I am now being hit from way too many sides from some people, and you don't do that. And I appreciate that.
Oh, good. That's good feedback.
Yeah. I really do appreciate that. You're welcome. And I just want to say before we go that I'm so grateful for the sponsor of this show, who is 100 Angels. And 100 Angels helps families in need. And whether they are helping with medical care, just creating, safety and nutrition in a family, they do whatever it takes. And if you'd like to get engaged with 100 Angels, you can go to 100angels.org. So Jennifer Aks-Neuman of herStories, I am so grateful for you. Thank you for hanging with me today. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been so fun and great. I loved it. I love this conversation. Thank you.
You are welcome. You are such a superstar. And everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we will connect with you next time. Bye-bye.